Oh, hey there everyone. Haven't made a video for a little while, so I figured I'd make one. Been on the YouTube a little bit, just taking in my daily propaganda, really. But anyway, a rehashed story was available on the Nicki Swift channel. It's kind of good to, get a quick 5 minutes of what's going on, even though you don't really hear what's going on. You get a story, and it'll probably be recycled in 6 months' time and worded differently, but essentially it'll be the same thing. Before I wanted to get into that, as you can see, this is a selfie Ashley Tisdale shirt. It took a long time to get here because I paid like no money for it. I think I paid like $9 for it, and no shipping and handling. It's like the only shirt of Ashley Tisdale that's available on eBay or Amazon. I don't even remember which site I used to get it, because chicks dig shirts like this, I suppose. I think anyway. Yeah, it came all the way from Thailand. Actually, my friend has a girlfriend from Thailand, and I kind of refer to him as an infested Terran, from the StarCraft video games. He's like, he was on the outlying colonies, and now he's been brainwashed with Asian orientation and all that kind of, bullshit. Hopefully, it all pans out for him, but who knows. Anyway, you may have noticed that I actually look like I have a little bit of a tan. That's not true. It's just the lighting up there, and the shirt is incredibly white. I have no tan whatsoever. Okay, so then you might go, well, you look like you lost a little bit of weight. And that would be a nice thing for you to say, but that also wouldn't be true. I've also gained 8 pounds. I've been working out though, doing a lot of weights. Trying to work on the upper body, actually, if you want to know the truth. Anyway, what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about the video that was released by the Nicki Swift channel yesterday. Oh, not, probably 10 hours ago, something like that. Anyway, basically it was saying how, you could be a celebrity and not be wealthy. That is very much true. They were mostly pointing out people who are, in TV, Netflix type things, like, the Arrow guy, the guy from Arrow, the Flash, a few other name people, and they were pointing out how, people offhand would think they're worth tons and tons of money, and they're really not. I believe that, but for some people, their dollar goes a lot farther than other people's. And I mean, like, if you're on television, you have a crew of cronies that either loves you, hates you, doesn't like you, likes you, dislikes you, whatever. They're like flies on shit. They're there whether you want them to or not. And they're there all the time, and you can't get rid of them. I mean, I'm sure if you, stomped around and made a point to get rid of one, you wouldn't see that person, but someone else will take their place. They're addicted to, the Hollywood multimedia propaganda apparatus, and they don't ever want to leave it, despite who they maybe try to prop up or whatever position in the industry they have, because that's their livelihood. And it comes with pros and cons. You're an anonymous douchebag, so you're not worth anything, but could be discarded. That's a disadvantage. But anyway, they talked about, what's that stupid show? It's not Smallville. Anyway, I didn't watch it. Supernatural, that's right. I didn't watch it. Anyway, they're emphasizing how the guys there weren't making a lot of money either, but they were worth a couple $1,000,000. They're doing not too bad. As I said, their dollar goes a lot further because you know, they're on the inside, and it's a very select group of people who you know, kind of have that advantage. I don't know the exact dynamics of how that exactly works, but you don't have to have a ton of zeros in your bank account to get things that you want. I'm not saying they just show up by osmosis, but you know, even if you're only worth $2,000,000, it's still, you still have your own magnetic pole. It's like gravity. And you know, there actually are quite a number of celebrities. Lady Gaga, for example, Johnny Depp. Those would be the obvious ones. There are plenty of other ones too, who one day they can be worth $100,000,000, and then the next day they're in a roach-infested, dirty, smelly crack den or something like that. Oh, I'm not saying Lady Gaga's ever participated in that, and neither is Johnny Depp, although I wouldn't be surprised, but it's almost as if they do not have money. Money has them. And depending on, you know, the wave of the fanatics at the time on what they think those particular people should be doing. Remember, I'm only using Johnny Depp as an example, only using Lady Gaga as an example. And, you know, they're powerful, influential people, but they, you know, both have that kind of look like they're been through some rough patches, let's say. Particularly Lady Gaga. I mean, you see some of her work and you go, oof, the stress has really gotten her. And, you know, she's got all these problems, came out with that documentary, 5'2". You know, I felt bad for her. You know, they're working her too hard. It's not fair. And then, you know, people get this moronic ideology that, you know, it doesn't matter because it's one person and, you know, they're not going to die or anything like that. So they can be pushed around a little bit and it doesn't matter. But that's bullshit. I think if you're in that position, you have to put up with so much as it is, and you shouldn't have to put up with a guilt trip to be associated with it. Now, I know a lot of people don't put up with that, but there are some people, just based on the dynamics of how their cult personality was built, have no choice but to, you know, kind of have to go through rough patches. That's to be expected for anyone, but there's other people that it hits them harder. And I don't think that is actually fair, but that's just my opinion. So, I mean, as far as literal physical cash goes, it's a mystery. There are quite a number of celebrities, they're important people that don't want you to know how much money they're worth. And for good reason. Because, I don't know, it'll make their life harder somehow. I mean, I like to toot my own horn and tell people I got Illuminati connections and I can do this and that, and, you know, I'm on the low right now, and you know, all that sort of stuff. But I don't know, maybe I'm lying. Maybe I've misinformed you. Maybe I think you're stupid and that your opinion doesn't matter. I don't know, maybe I'm a jerk, but it doesn't matter. I just wanted to emphasize that things are not what they appear to be, and we live in a society filled with liars. You can attach any bad name you want to, like compulsive liar, sadistic liar, fanatical liar, sycophantic liar, any kind of liar. They exist everywhere. And once you understand that almost every image you see in mainstream media, whether it's messages on a bus or adverts on the television or you're walking past a car dealership, It is all propaganda designed to make you think a certain way. And although there is no one single unit that controls all the propaganda, there is a flow and an underlying message. And to be honest with you, I've interpreted that, and I do not like what I see. It, there is an underlying message in today's society that is, real creepy. It's fucked up. Like, there's so many fucked up things. And I am tired of fuckers who think because somebody's paid a ton of money that therefore they don't have to feel bad for them, therefore they're snobs, blah 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 blah. Daniel Craig being an example, when he was offered $150 million to play Bond again, he eventually took it and nobody felt bad for him. And I went, well, it's not the Roger Moore days of Bond, but playing Bond is a lot more serious than it used to be. And, $150 million is a lot of money, but $150 million brings 150 million kinds of problems. And, sometimes it's better just to take 5 and not do it. You really gotta gauge the situation and, play your cards right. Because, like, $150 million, that's like, maybe not so much over here, but overseas, particularly in, like, Asia, that means dead bodies, no matter what you do. No matter what Daniel Craig does in this Bond movie, it's gonna offend people in Asia, because they bicker amongst themselves, they hate each other, they're basically like warlords over there that are vying for dominance within that region. And, they take what the West has seriously. I mean, they make fun of it all the time and, rip on it every chance they get and do everything that we wouldn't like, but they take it very seriously in the sense that any movie that comes out is immediately shredded to pieces and reorganized and just scrutinized beyond belief. Which is kind of creepy that they're that fanatical over there. I mean, you think you've got sycophants here who, go to a Lady Gaga concert and they got purple hair and sparkles on them and lipstick and, all that sort of stupid stuff. No, they're just autistic or something, or mildly retarded. They're relatively harmless. They're not, they're not in something into themselves. They're not more than what they are. For the most part, they're a bunch of douchebags. A horde of fucking idiots, retard zombies. They're not much of a problem. I mean, if it weren't for outside influences in this world, trust me, Western society would be different and better in a lot of ways. I know throughout history, there have been a lot of questionable moments in Western history, but for the most part, we're a hell of a lot better than a lot of other places. A lot of other places are really still fucking backwards. So before you take the piss out of Western society and you look at, your current media logos and things like that and go, this is a bunch of crap, this is stupid. I'd never watch, the Avengers. I've never watched Thor. I don't care about Hela, Kate Blanchett playing her and all that sort of stuff. Just take it in stride, okay? It's a complicated world, and you kind of have to really pay attention, but don't focus on just one thing, because if you do, you'll miss other things, because it's a flow. It's like a wave. And, most people, they go, well, if I don't participate in it, it'll just go away. That's true to an extent, but it's also true if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And, believe me, this is the problem with the direction of which mainstream media wants to go, and people don't understand how badly people want this thing to go in that direction. And that's, basically anything you watch on Canadian news. I don't know so much about American news, probably American news too, but definitely Canadian news, about being politically correct. Canada wants refugees, LGBT rights, First Nations rights, blah blah blah. The fucking message they send us, and they treat us like we're fucking idiots. And if nobody stands up and says, "Hey, what the fuck? Don't do that," they're just gonna keep on doing that. I mean, me making this video right here, right now, I think it helps a little bit, but obviously I would like to do more because there's a bunch of things that are fucking bullshit, and ain't nobody want to put up with that. Excuse me, yeah. It really is a bummer that those people were discriminated against in the past, but now you're talking about limiting my rights so that you get, I don't know what word to use, so I'll just use revenge, or you get your satisfaction, you feel better about yourself because you put down the regular everyday Joe. And I'm here to tell you that no, you're not going to do that, at least not for that long. It's going to be short-lived victory. Yeah, I did want to get back to how certain celebrities can be worth an absorbent amount of money at one point, but in particular Lady Gaga, her whole world, shifts just like that. I doubt she has that much control in what she's doing on any given day. I mean, obviously she has her downtime where she's just relaxing, maybe writing tunes and who knows what else. The crowds demand to be entertained, and the show must go on, and all that kind of crap. And people are just so powerfully fucking ignorant. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's a fucking scary woman, and she's done a lot of really gross things. I don't even want to think about it. I don't think about it, actually, but I had to mention that part. But I do respect her because, she came in at an awkward time. Obama was president, and, he was a black man, and a lot of people go, oh, what does that have to do with anything? Well, actually, it has a lot to do with things because he was the president. So he definitely put his hands into the propaganda cookie jar and, mixed things up, and not for the benefit of white people, I must add. I know it's white man's blues, and there are a lot of people out there, particularly Latinos, blacks, and Asians, that don't give a damn. But, I don't think anyone should have a hard time unnecessarily, but as I was saying earlier with how it is in Canada with the LGBT, First Nations, refugees and all that shit, if they're going to come in with their tidal wave of bullshit, then I'm sorry, we're building a fucking wall so that you can't fucking do that. Because how about fuck you? Our forefathers did not put up with this shit, and neither are we. Yeah, so many damn things to talk about. I've been wanting to make a video for a few days now. I've had my things to do, so I've been busy. Yeah, there's always a lot of things going on in the world, and unfortunately for everyday people, we always hear it last. A lot of people like to think, well, no, I'm on the inside scoop, I hear it first. I'm subscribed to Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, YouTube. I would watch TV, blah, blah, blah. I'm in the inside. No, you're not. You don't know anything. Yeah, you get the butt end of every story, just like everybody else. And, actually people who hear things are people who just have things told to them. It's almost like it's word of mouth. And, that's all good and well, but can't be certain your information's accurate if you didn't hear it straight from the horse's mouth, unfortunately. That's the fact of the matter. Because, I've heard stories, and I'm just like, did some guy make that up, or is that true? And I'm like, it isn't that hard to make up stories, really, is it? But, it sounds plausible. And that's what makes it convincing. Convincing propaganda is not difficult to manufacture. It just, it takes an active mind, where the wheels are turning, and not only are they turning, but they're properly oiled so that it's a fine-tuned running machine. And a lot of people lack that. They get distracted in their work. Maybe their work isn't very intellectually stimulated, and they focus their efforts on something incredibly stupid. Because, I know people who could tell you what a wrestler's height, weight, if he had facial hair, back in the 80s. And I'm talking about nobody wrestlers too, like I don't even know who the wrestlers are today, as an example. I know people who know hockey stuff, I know people who know wrestling stuff, I know people who know baseball stuff. And, you can't fill your head with that useless information. I mean, this would be obvious for most people. But, you do have to say it, because there are some people who have not clued in. Well, this is turning into kind of a rambling video, hasn't it? Brought up a few topics, nothing really specific. I was going to talk about how the Nicki Swift channel, they rehash stories. It's the same as the magazines you see in the grocery store when you're about to purchase your stuff. If you read and bought those magazines every time, okay, sure enough, you're going to read a lot of the same crap over and over again, and you may go a little bit crazy. I don't buy those magazines. I only buy, the hockey news, and that's about it. But, it's kind of like anything. It may not have a specific message, but it has a wave, as I was telling you about, a vibe, an undertone message. And the people who understand that are very tight-lipped about what they know. I don't know, some people got this, mental defect where they feel they have to guard what precious little information they have, especially if they had to work to get it. And it's just you are pathetic. You're a douchebag. I don't give a rat's ass. Tell anybody anything I know. Just ask me. So, there's that. Yeah, so I guess I should probably wrap this up. Not, do too much talking and have no substance in what I'm saying. But, those lower level celebrities who are in sitcoms, Netflix, they're not nobodies. And, okay, they're not Brad Pitt, they're not some other douchebag like that, rich, but you don't really want to be, because you don't want that kind of attention, because then, it's you're never alone with someone watching you, and you're always, got to, go about your daily life and worry that any small blooper in your regular routine is gonna, end up on social media. But, we don't actually see that much of it because it doesn't go to social media. It goes to the social media fanatics, sycophants, psychopaths. And they're a lot worse. I would rather make an idiot out of myself in front of 100 million idiots who would forget next week than 10,000 sycophants who will never forget, will get over-offended, and will use it against you, not because it was really offensive to them or anything like that, but just because it's a tool they can use to fuck you up. An excuse. That's why when you see on media, people seem to get hyper offended by things that are what the fuck, I don't even care. Trying to think of an example here, Kaepernick taking a knee. that's the story they push on the fucking news, and not so much lately. That story's sort of gone away like it should, but they were really pushing that story, and I'm like, I do not give a rat's ass if he took a knee or not. He's never going to win a Super Bowl, nor should he, but that's not the most important thing. And, it's stuff like that, that's the message we get, and I go, this is stupid, this is a waste of time. He was doing other things that we didn't like, and, he was laughing about things that would piss you off, but, someone's dealing with it. That's all you gotta know. I don't know who, I don't know how, but somehow it's being dealt with. That's all I know. Well, so I brought up that in my little YouTube conversation I'm having with probably people who do not like me very much. My channel could have got a lot more popular had I bought into, the modern day media stream of what's considered the ideal personality traits of somebody who should be successful, the direction they want the social atmosphere to go. Unfortunately, a lot of those stories are just fucking terrible, man. I don't like them, and that's just not me. You're gonna have to put up with that, because I ain't going away, and I can see exactly what you douchebags are all about. And it is not cool. I don't care, man. Maybe you got some valid points here and there, but overall, you are sending a message of not fucking cool. And it's really cramping, guys not unsimilar to myself, it's cramping our style, and we don't like it. There are other things I could bring up, but actually it's somewhat late at night, so I actually really want to upload this so that some of my YouTube trollers will have a little bit of media they can dissect and do whatever the hell they want with. Don't really have much choice in what they do with it. I mean, I tell them to fuck off, but they don't listen to me.